for that. Well, let's get more now on our main story. Donald Trump's statement that waterboarding terrorist suspects is effective. With me now is Chris Phillips, former head of the National Counter-Terrorism Security Office. Chris, thank you very much for joining us today. I suppose to begin, one man's torture is another man's enhanced interrogation. And it's true, isn't it, that some US troops, they undergo waterboarding as part of their training?
Yeah, unfortunately, torture is used by numbers of countries around the world. I think the US troops receive that training because they believe that if they do get captured, they're going to receive it. So, yes, it's used by countries, but is it effective? Probably not.
So the context in which Donald Trump is saying this, at least to the domestic audience, is quite different to the context in which other countries are hearing it, because internationally over the last 8 years during Obama's presidencies, we've been used to hearing an anti-torture, more liberal message, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And what this does, it plays very well to his own audience, I think, but actually to the rest of the world, they see a different thing. They see an issue with someone now that they perhaps won't be able to share intelligence with. The US actually have got a fantastic intelligence gathering machine. It works very closely with other countries, with organizations. It uses money and it uses things like spy drones and all that kind of stuff that works really well. And they've done a brilliant job with their intelligence. This is such a tiny portion of what they've done in the past, which doesn't do anything to enhance what they offer.
Let's come back to that in a moment, but fundamentally, what are your views on the effectiveness of waterboarding? Does it work?
Well, torture will make people talk, but whether it makes them say the right things, whether they're actually going to tell the truth, they'll tell you anything to stop this from happening. So it's been shown in the past, yes, of course it will make people talk, but does it give you the answer that you need? Almost certainly not. And
Donald Trump says he's going to take the advice of his defense secretary and director of the CIA. Do we know what their views are on this?
Well, I think back in history, they've been sort of against this, but of course they're also playing to this audience that they want to get on side within the US. And I think that we'll hear lots of these types of messages, but I do worry about the impact that it has on other countries, because everyone else around the world is listening to what Donald Trump says and is forming an impression of the US that I think the US is not going to be good for the US in the future.
As we've already heard from Westminster today, the clear message that any information extracted via torture, well, it couldn't be used by spies here, for example, could it? So it would really compromise that network of intelligence sharing between the UK and the US, and presumably between the US and other countries as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a brilliant sharing network of intelligence called Five Eyes, which is a UK, US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and that is vital for our safety. Those group of people actually bring more intelligence into the Western world than anything else. That will all be lost if it goes down this route.
Just finally, briefly, do you think that Donald Trump will listen to what Theresa May has to say on this?
I think he will listen to all the advice that he gets, whether it's from Theresa May or whether it's from other people. That he wants to shock people. I think that's his aim at the moment. Let's see in the long term whether this stuff actually does come to fruition. I doubt it very much.
Okay, Chris Phillips, former head of the National Counter-Terrorism Office. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.